Welcome to the Truman Charities podcast. I am Jamie Truman, your host. This will be our last podcast of the year. And a few weeks back, I did a podcast for Giving Tuesday where I went over all of the nonprofits that I had spoke with throughout the year. So you can find the organization that most resonated with you. But also a few years back, I decided to expand and not only talk to nonprofit founders, but also talk to people in the community that are really making a difference. But we also wanted to keep that $250 donation that we like to do. So what we did as a thank you to these people that are doing wonderful work in the community is donate on their behalf to a charity that really resonates with them. So I wanted to go over some of the most influential people that I spoke with over this past year. These people I sought out because I'd either read their book or heard them on another podcast or just couldn't stop thinking about something that they had said. So let's go over some of the people that I spoke with this year that were, some of my favorite interviews, to be honest. So episode 148, The Hidden Cost of Poor Sleep with Dr. Brown. This episode struck a chord with many of you, and for good reason. So Dr. Brown is a sleep physician and author of Beyond Tired and helped us unravel the invisible ripple effects of poor sleep. We talked about how lack of sleep impacts mood, hormones, weight gain, behavior in our children, and even long-term health risks. She explained while the weekend sleep catch-up doesn't really work, whether waking up earlier to exercise is worth sacrificing sleep, which is a big one, and if the nightly glass of wine actually helps you relax or backfires later. From insomnia to bedwetting for children, Dr. Brown offered clear and practical steps to help families sleep better, which is obviously a very important conversation for your health. So episode 145, Year-Round Sports, Burnout, and What Parents Need to Know with Coach John Scribner. This episode really hits home with youth sports today because it looks nothing like the way that it did when we grew up. Coach Scribner, he is the founder of Hoop Ed, and he broke down why kids are playing earlier and harder, whether your year-round sports actually helps, when specializing can hurt long-term development, why kids aren't playing pickup games anymore, and why burnout is becoming alarmingly common. This conversation is really about grounding us in reality and whether, your kid is picking up a ball for the first time or you're navigating competitive high school sports. Coach John gives us tools to keep sports sustainable and, most importantly, fun. Then we have an episode on Lyme's disease, why most Lyme's disease treatments fail, with Dr. Bill Rawls. So Lyme's disease is a major issue here in the DMV area, and Dr. Rawls shared one of the most eye-opening conversations that we've had on chronic illnesses. We explored why Lyme's disease is understood, how a tick bite from years ago can create your illness today, why antibiotics often can fail, whether long-term antibiotics do more harm than good, how the role of herbs, diet, immune health, and stress contributes to Lyme's. Dr. Rouse went from being a physician to becoming a patient. And his decades of research has helped thousands heal where conventional medicine fell a little bit short. This episode empowers families to take early action and understand the full picture of chronic infection. Episode 138, The Lawyer Who Took Down DuPont. This episode is one I still think about. Robert Billet, whose story inspired the documentary The Devil We Know and the feature film Dark Waters, walked us through basically the fight of his life. Dark Waters, you probably remember. Anne Hathaway played his wife, and Mark Ruffalo played him in the film. So he shared about how one phone call from a farmer changed everything, revealing the truth about PFAS, or as you may know as forever chemicals, contaminating our water and our soil, which then contaminates our body. We talked about how these chemicals ended up in everyday products, what families can do to reduce the exposure, how to know if it's in your drinking water, and the decades-long battle it took for him to protect the public. Robert's persistence, integrity, and impact is absolutely extraordinary. One of my favorite episodes. I read the book too, which was fantastic as well. Episode 135, The Unintended Consequences of Glyphosate with Nick Bailey of Grandview Farm. This is one of the most surprising conversations that I've had of the year. So Nick is a farmer who opened up about what glyphosate really is and the hidden consequences when it's in your soil and then your food. This episode, we covered what glyphosate does once it enters the farming ecosystem, a shocking ingredient that many companies add to their meat during packaging, what dead zones are, and how regenerative farming can prevent them, the hidden debate around raw milk, and the incredible story about how the Legal Defense Fund helped save his farm when the state tried shutting him down without reason. And then one of the other things that we talked about, which I think that you'll find fascinating, is how something can be brought over from another country. And if it's packaged here in the US, they can label it from US. So that was a really great conversation. And if you're in the DMV area like myself, DC, Maryland, Virginia, you can actually go to his farm. It's a little bit north of Baltimore. So I took my kids there. He walked around with us. He showed us the packaging. We saw the chickens and the cows and the whole bit. It was really great. And him and his family are fantastic. He lives on the farm with his wife and his 3 boys. We were able to meet them. It's a really great family farm. He's helping the community by giving them a regenerative farming option. We have episode 133, What's Really in Your Kids' School Lunch with Hillary Boynton. If you're a parent, this one will probably make you take a second look at your kids' cafeteria tray. So Hillary, mother of 5 and founder of School of Lunch, she's uncovering the reality behind typical school meals and how they affect children's behavior, learning, and health. So Hillary's journey started with the healing of her son's severe eczema and led her to create a model for schools nationwide. She actually just announced on her Instagram last week that they're moving into Florida. So they are all the way in California. So they are coming over to the East Coast, which is fantastic. What she does is she talks about nutrient-dense meals made from real local foods. So in this episode, we talked about why school meals matter more than you realize, how real food can be simple and affordable, her Heal Your Gut cookbook, which I have, and I have used recipes from that book. A, they're simple, which is great for me, simple and fast, and B, my kids actually like them. So it's a win-win for everybody, so definitely go and get that book. Hillary is actually proof that one parent's determination can actually spark a movement. And these are the people that I decided to interview this year because they were just doing some really incredible work within the community. And I found them very interesting. I plan to continue to do that for 2026. I want you guys to look out for the episode that will be the first episode of the year where I'm going to recap 2025. And then tell you what we have in store for 2026 and tell you how you can get involved within Truman Charities in 2026. So look out for that episode. That will be, I believe, the first Wednesday of January. If you are looking to follow us, please follow us on Instagram at Jamie_Truman Charities, Facebook at Truman Charities. You can follow me on LinkedIn at Jamie Truman, and then go on to TrumanCharities.com, sign up for a newsletter so you don't miss any upcoming episodes or Bethesda's Best Happy Hours. And then we are 100% volunteer-based organization. So the reviews really make a difference in introducing this podcast to new listeners. So please take a moment to rate and review this podcast and share it with friends. And of course, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Truman Charities podcast. I hope that you have enjoyed your Christmas or your Hanukkah, your holiday time with friends and family. And I look forward to speaking with you in 2026. Happy New Year, everyone.